Hi, I'm your host Davia Chambers, welcoming you to Let's Talk Tobago. It's our first edition for 2023. Of course, Christmas has come and gone, leaving us with endless possibilities for a new year and a new season. We're so happy to be with you for another year, bringing you the sights, the sounds, and the energy that make Tobago a one-of-a-kind island. So get comfy and leave the heavy lifting to us as we share this week's top stories. Visitors are enjoying a promising cruise season in Tobago. The island pays a fitting tribute as it celebrates the life of one of the island's true icons. And we look back at Tobago's Day of Prayer, which marks a positive start to the new year. We'll bring you these stories and more right after this break. Stay with us.
Mason Hall Moriah, your executive council is coming to meet with you. The THA will continue its district town hall meeting series on Tuesday, January 17th at the Moriah Community Center from 6:30 p.m. Come out as the executive council members give updates on existing and upcoming programs and projects. You also get the opportunity to share your concerns and ask questions.
To all the villagers, let's come out, let's talk to the representatives, let's get our issues fixed, and we're on 2023.
So join us from 6:30 p.m. at the Moriah Community Center for the Executive Council District Town Hall meeting. Remember, your voice matters.
Tobago has earned a special place in the hearts of many travelers. It's one of the reasons the island has enjoyed a promising restart to the cruise industry, as more vessels are choosing Destination Tobago as their preferred port of call. Have a look.
Well, cruise shipping in general has a surge in demand after COVID. Everybody wants to get back out there and travel. So I think the demand will always be there, and the demand for ships to come back to Tobago will always be there. The onus is on us to provide the service that they expect. So the tours we see most, obviously the Pigeon Point Beach, that's always a big seller. Currently today we have probably over 300 persons going to Pigeon Point Beach alone. Other popular tours are Tobago South, which basically does a tour of Tobago South, the different forts, Mysterious Tombstone, that sort of thing. And another famous one is the folkloric show, where we put on exactly what you're seeing here with the entertainment here at the port. We do that in a private setting for the guests. We also have more active tours like a boat cruise to Little Tobago, where you do a hike on Little Tobago. We do tours in the rainforest, Argyle Waterfall, Cocoa Discovery, different things like that.
We have all the maxis are engaged and a few PTSC buses, and so far we will have covered the transportation issue. We have been taking them around this beautiful island of Tobago. They are enjoying it and they are having a wonderful time. Not only for the taxi operator, you have like the cultural group, then you have the reef boat, you have the people who are selling, doing arts and craft, which is very good. So it's general, right? But and I think we are enjoying it and we are benefiting from it, and I trust that this can continue and there will be an increase.
From the time they reach close enough and they hear the music, you see the dancing from off the boat, you know, so it's a good feeling being received by them in that way. Some persons know about the instrument, and some persons don't know. So they will ask questions like, is it amplified? Is it electronic? How many notes? How do we create the pan? Who created it?
Close to a dozen ships have already visited Destination Tobago, with several more calls scheduled. From the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
So Titus is a Latin word meaning honorable and strong, related to the term Titan. Fittingly, these are all words that could have been used to describe the late Royal Axeback Titus, who had a massive impact on this island. And that's how he'll be remembered as Tobago recently celebrated his life. If you missed out his farewell, here are some highlights.
He touched me. He was a father, a revenue officer, an advisor, a teacher, a principal, a school supervisor, a cultural group leader, a cricket captain, a steel pan arranger, a choreographer, a composer, an anthropologist, an author, a producer, a director, a musician, a calypsonian. He was a Senate vice president.
He came to Speyside High School and contributed heavily to the school's cultural development. On numerous occasions, he led the school's choir to different music festivals where we performed at Queen's Hall and Napa. He also introduced folk dance and led the school's dance group to many renowned places throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
I want to give a commitment on behalf of the Tobago House of Assembly that we will see to it that his unpublished works get published so that the legacy will continue and so that the information and knowledge that he had will be passed on for generations to come.
Well, look, my friends, and them tell me, check the style of my calypso. They keep telling me all the while, careful with the things you make people know.
2023 is going to be the mother of all carnivals in Trinidad and Tobago after the impact of COVID-19. So if Lit was a festival, this would definitely be it. Of course, steel pan plays a major part, and Tobago has already made its mark with Uptown Fascinators topping the National Small Band semi-finals. In fact, 5 other Tobago bands, T and the Tech Eastside Dimension, Alpha Pan Pioneers, Tobago Panthers, West Side Symphony, and CNB Crown Cordons are into the top 15, meaning they'll compete for the crown. In this story, Uptown Fascinators tells us about their carnival experience so far.
For me, picking an old tune is not just finding any old song and just decide to pick it. It has to be something that old and young people could relate to.
We are here to defend our championship, and we know what it takes. Of course, we felt excited, but we also remain humble.
A bit of nervousness because you never know what we're hoping for the best. We're in a good position right now, but we are in no way comfortable or feeling like, we're on top of the world or anything. We have a lot of work to do. This is only the first night since we come back from Trinidad, and we back in the Panther and getting it hard, getting it together because we really want it. We're hungry for it.
So we have to take a break, but don't go anywhere. Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Mason Hall Mariah, your executive council is coming to meet with you. The THA will continue its district town hall meeting series on Tuesday, January 17th at the Mariah Community Center from 6:30 p.m. Come out as the executive council members give updates on existing and upcoming programs and projects. You also get the opportunity to share your concerns and ask questions.
To all the villagers, let's come out. Let's talk to the representatives. Let's get our issues fixed. And we're on 2023.
So join us from 6:30 p.m. at the Mariah Community Center for the Executive Council District Town Hall meeting. Remember, your voice matters.
New Year's Day was about getting 2023 off to the right start, with the island hosting its first day of prayer. Representatives from several denominations gathered to pray for Tobago. Here's a look back at the day of prayer.
Have you ever wondered why we should pray? And as Matthew 21:22 says, "And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive it if you have faith." And this Tobago House of Assembly Executive Council has made it their prime concern to keep a day of prayer once every month.
We ask Almighty God to shower His blessings upon all our families. Lord, you know the brokenness of family life at this time. You know the challenges that we face. But Father, Lord, we know that with you all things are possible. So as we begin this new year, we entrust all of our families, O God, to your merciful care. And we pray, Almighty God, that through the power of your Holy Spirit, you continue to bind all families with cords of love that cannot be broken.
And, oh God, as we come praying for our land, we ask, O Holy Father, that you continue to teach our elders, give our elders the word to give on to our people, so that our people will change their mindset and turn from their wicked ways and come to glorify you in spirit and in truth.
As we gather in this fashion to lift up our prayerful concerns about our nation, Trinidad and Tobago, we do so knowing that your ears are not too dull that you cannot hear, and your hands are not too short that you cannot save us.
Lord, we pray in a special way for wisdom for our leaders, as that national song and hymn will say, give them grace to guide. Oh Lord, we pray that you will allow equity and equality to reign in this Tobago space. We pray, dear Lord, that you will give your people good health, as your word will have indicated that you wish above all things that we prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospereth.
It's important to recognize those who contributed to society. Now, the Tobago Youth Awards 2022 is in the air, and as the island gets ready to honor its youth mentors, and organizations who've made a difference in the past year, so we chatted with some of the past awardees to find out how much of a difference that recognition has made to them. Here's what they said.
The Tobago Youth Awards was established in 2003 to recognize youth excellence on the island. The honorees are those who've contributed to Tobago's development, both as individual and youth organization.
The current nomination period seeks to highlight our outstanding young persons for the primary period of September 2021 to August of 2022. Following the nomination period, at the close of nomination, we have an independent selection committee that is appointed, comprising of individuals from within both the private and public sector.
Past winners of the awards say they can be life-changing.
At first, I was a bit surprised, but winning the award just goes to show that there are persons that look at you and look up to you, and you're not even aware that persons are looking at what could you do in society. And that would have just really given me that drive to continue reaching out to young persons in my community and young persons on the island.
Some of us were like, yes, I know he was going to win, it was a blessing. It immediately boosted our self-esteem. It added credibility to our efforts. It was almost a testimony to say that, yes, you see, hard work does pay off.
The award ceremony is scheduled for later this month. I am David Jacobs for Let's Talk Tobago.
Now we've come to the end of this edition of Let's Talk Tobago. It's been our pleasure bringing you a close-up view of the island. As always, we thank you for watching. Remember, you can email us with your comments or queries, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. To find out more about Mercedes Villa, you can call 678-0021. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and fantastic week.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Yes, and that is a live shot of Charlottesville, Tobago, and that's a cruise ship coming in there at Charlottesville. Yes, these things do happen. And our crew is out there bringing to you live footage of this cruise ship that has just docked and docked there in East Side, Charlottesville, Tobago. Beautiful indeed. So if you want to go out to Charlottesville, it's not a bad idea this morning to go out there, have your breakfast, maybe spend the day at the beach. I am Ria Richardson George this morning, and this is the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you viewing in the Caribbean and those of you on the live, good morning, good morning, good morning. Julian is not with us this morning. Other engagements would have him occupied this morning, but certainly, God willing, he will be back with us on Monday morning. So we're really happy to be with you this morning. We're coming to you live from the Port More, Lower Scarborough, Tobago. In fact, third floor Port More, Lower Scarborough, Tobago. And we say good morning to all of our viewers. It's Friday, the 20th of January, 2023. And we've got quite a packed and interesting program for you this morning that we'll tell you about a little bit later on. Just before we get into things, we want to say good morning to some of our major sponsors this morning. Just My Size, Here's Sanctuary, Phyllis Grant, Joyce Fashion, Mateo's, House of Norma, Classic Cuts, Checkpoint, and the Port Mall. So we say good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Well, you know, lots of interesting things have been happening in and around the Tobago. We just want to check in very quickly here with what's happening on the live. As you know, we connect with our viewers on the live, and as a result of that,
All right, we're going to connect with our viewers on the live in just a little bit. All right, Mr. Director is saying, let's get to the birthdays. I think we've got some exciting birthdays. In fact, we know when we celebrate life, we also have to remember that there is death in the midst of life. But even as we celebrate life this morning, we want to recognize today Mr. Dion Wills, who celebrates his birthday today. Dion Wills, trust that you have a great one. Happy birthday going out to you, and lots of love from all of us here at Tobago Updates. We've got Giselle Jack celebrating her birthday. Giselle, trust that you have a great one, and lots of love from all of us here at Tobago Updates. We've got Mrs. Giselle Thomas Francis celebrating her birthday today. Love going out to you. I trust that Huzzy treats you well today. In fact, even better today, because I know you get it good. But trust that you get it even better today. Have a great one this morning. And this is my girl out there, Loma Stewart McDougall, celebrating her birthday. Loma, love going out to you. Look fabulous. Love going out to you. Willie, good morning. Have a great one today, Loma. And Michelle Timothy, this young lady never seems to be aging. All right, so we say good morning and happy birthday to you, Michelle Timothy. Have a great one and love from all of us here at Tobago Updates. Okay, we've also got Ellis Abraham celebrating a birthday. Ellis Abraham, love going out to you. Do it in fine style. And we trust that you enjoy today, Ellis Abraham. From all of us here at Tobago Updates. Okay, we've got some more birthdays there. Let's see if we can get them up. No, before we get to this, we've still got another one. This is not a birthday. 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 Same guy, not a birthday. This is not the birthday. Let's go to the birthday before we get to this one. Yeah. That's right. This is my girl here, Josanne Jackson, celebrating her birthday today. So, Josanne, love going out to you from my family to yours and all of us here at Tobago Updates. That's right. Have a great one, Josie. Love to you. All right. So, at this time, and maybe now it's okay. You can bring up that last photo of that gentleman. Yes. And this is us sending here condolences this morning to the family and friends of Godwin Manswell. And Godwin Manswell passed away on Thursday, the 12th of January, 2023. He's originally from Lansford, but lived in Mount Grace. His homegoing service will be held on Monday, the 23rd of January, 2023 at the Scarborough Roman Catholic Church from 10 a.m. then out to the Bacalet Cemetery. So this morning we take the opportunity to extend condolences to Godwin Manswell, his wife Deidre, and children, and his siblings, his family. We send condolences. And Deidre, I say here to you this morning, love going out to you. Love and our prayers going out to you from the class of 89 of Signal Hill Secondary School, Signal Hill Senior Comp. So we send out condolences to all of you. And we pray God's peace upon you even at this time. Just before we head on over, we just want to mention here one of our major sponsors as well, Sasha Cosmetics. Sasha, I've got to say Sasha Cosmetics. Okay, Sasha Cosmetics, good morning going out to the management and staff of Sasha Cosmetics. So we're going to head on over at this time to Candace, see where Candace is out there in Charlottesville. Candace, over to you. Good morning. And we're going to head over to the news in 90 seconds with Candace out in Charlottesville.
Good morning, Ria. Yes. Good morning, Ria. Yes, I am in Charlottesville. As you can see behind me, we have that crew, and of course, we're going to forward the program. Let's get into the news in 2023. Minority Lead Morris, a THM project. Morris was referring $19 million contract by a roofing company from under a design build finance arrangement, comparing the breakdown of expenses with one of the contract Tobago contractor investigation. Morris stated the inflated costs amounting to a difference of $4.2 million. He questioned the procurement methods after Tobago contractors came under scrutiny for projects engaged under the previous state administration. Meanwhile, the present-day work culture of public servants presented a challenge for the Assistant Secretary of the City Law, responsibility in the business on to explain public is riddled with absenteeism and a lack of good working ethic, preventing.
All right, sorry about that there, viewers. It's one of those days when the connectivity is not just at its best. We're really sorry about that. For those of you who've been listening, sorry about that. Candace, we're unable to get the news in 90 seconds. But let's just tell you a little bit about what's happening on the program this morning. So we're going to start things off this morning chatting with Minority Leader of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Kelvin Morris, as he focuses on unanswered questions on contractor deals. And for those of you who were privy to the report yesterday given by the Minority Leader, and this is during their press briefing, some of these issues were raised, and of course asking questions rather than asking for answers from the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Fali Augustine. But we're going to try Candace one more time to get that news in 90 seconds. Over to you, Candace.
And for those technical difficulties, of course, glitches happen when you're on site and when you're on the outside. Anyways, for getting into our first story, Minority Leader Kelvin Morris accused the Fali Augustine-led administration of inflating costs on projects. Morris was referring to a $19 million contract by a roofing construction company from Trinidad, design, build, finance arrangement. Comparing the breakdown of expenses with one of the contracts from a Tobago contractor currently under investigation, Morris stated the cost amounted to a difference of $4 in the procurement after Tobago came under some scrutiny for a project under the previous administration. Meanwhile, the work culture of servants presented a challenge for Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary, Sutika Williams-Orr, who is responsible for overseeing the public service. She spoke on Thursday's episode of Full Disclosure on Tobago Updates. She explained that the public service is riddled with absenteeism and a lack of good working ethics, preventing policies and duties to be carried out in an efficient and timely manner. The Assistant Secretary called on public servants to take pride in their work and also make accurate reports to administrators and secretaries. And nationally, police are warning parents that if they do not steer their children away from a life of crime, they'll be held liable in court. Senior Superintendent Corinne Francis of the Northern Division issued a warning at a press conference yesterday. He suggested that parents who antisocial or troublesome behavior in their children should take them to the police station where officers could talk and guide the child. Referring to the Anti-Gang Act, Francis stated that one section of the legislation deals with prosecution for people who are not gang members but assist gangs by providing direct support or hiding from the police, which implicates parents. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Ria, well, I guess it's over to you in studio, but I'm going to keep enjoying Charlottesville. I mean, it's so beautiful here this morning. Not too sure how it is down in the town side, but yes, this is the place that you want to be today.
Definitely. Now, Candace, it's very lonely here. There's no Julian, there's no you. But tell us, what does Charlottesville look like even at this hour of the morning?
It's sunrise in Charlottesville. The air is crisp full. I actually took some coffee on the way up, and it just felt so good to be drinking coffee as you're looking out at the ocean, as seeing that kind of golden orangey color from the sun just coming up. So it's just pristine. It's very quiet. Just a few vehicles going up and down, just the birds in the background. It's just this haven of tranquility and sereneness.
No, it's where we all want to be at this point, but enjoy it for all the rest of us.
Oh, I certainly will, Ria. I certainly will.
We know. And please, no more coffee for the morning. No more coffee.
Well, I have the fresh air to give me all that energy.
That's right. Well, have a great one there, Candace. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, viewers. Candace coming to us live from Charlottesville, Tobago, and that's beautiful East. And I'm telling you, once you visit Tobago, visiting Charlottesville is a must. It is a must. So just to give you some further details on what's happening this morning, as we mentioned earlier, Mr. Kelvin Morris, Minority Leader, is going to be on the program. And the focus, again, is going to be on unanswered questions on contracted deals. Following that, we're going to be chatting with Sharice McKnight, who's a financial advisor, on budgeting in guava season. And yes, viewers, that's where we're at. We are in that guava season. And as we continue on this morning, we chat with Astra Winchester, who's a band leader for Astra Winchester Creation. And we are going to chat with Astra on the Caribbean unity. And that's I guess that would be the flow, the theme for 2023. But she'll tell us more about that. So viewers, this is your opportunity. Even as we get into things, remember, Mr. Kelvin Morris is going to be joining us just after the break. So this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is here. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much man, good day. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last. Raise a glass.
Socialize!
27th of January. Look for where.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We keep bringing to you live footage of the cruise ship being docked there in Charlottesville, East Charlottesville, Tobago. And for those of you who have got a relaxing day, I suggest that you make your way out to Charlottesville. It's going to be quite an interesting day today. All right, so we're chatting this morning, with Minority Leader of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Kelvin Morris. And this morning our focus is on unanswered questions on the contractor deal. Good morning and welcome to Minority Leader Morris.
Good morning, Ria. Good morning to you, the viewers, listeners out there, Tobago, Trinidad, and the worldwide.
Now, Minority Leader, I know that you would have raised some questions quite recently on the issue here. Let's put it into perspective on the issue here. Calling out the PDP to account for roofing contractor escalated monies for road works done in Tobago, right? And there was an extensive, and it wasn't just one question or one issue of concern, but there seem to have been several. Let's start at the top. Let's start at the very beginning.
Definitely. And I want us to put it in context because you would recall one of the first issues that the Chief Secretary raised was this issue of roadworks, to the point that an audit was called in. We got a preliminary report from the Chief Secretary that was laid in the House. And in that report, he had pointed out that based on the audit, the preliminary audit findings, there was questions as with respect to the price paid per quantities for these road works. So he raised the issue of how much they would have paid for asphalt to supply and install asphalt, which is basically to pave the road.
Right.
You remember they were saying that they were paying at the time, the division of works at that time paid $1,400. And he would have indicated that that cost was inflated. And in fact, he pointed to that being a corrupt arrangement between the contractors and persons in the division as to be able to siphon funds from the THA. That was the Chief Secretary's charge against the former administration. We all remember that.
Right.
Lo and behold, we have a situation where we were told out of the blue, basically, we heard about some emergency roads. And the thing about these emergency roads, they were sold as things have to happen for the October Carnival. And that raised a red flag for us from the get-go, because we know we've been having carnivals in Tobago in February, and we've been having these carnivals at Pigeon Point, at Crown Point. We've been having them at Scarborough, and we've been having them up in Roxborough. And there was no need for any alternative road. We've been having them quite safely, and the carnival went on, carnival came, carnival go, and the carnival, and we were able to have a carnival. But these roads, these 4 roads in particular was...
And which of these 4 roads that are in question?
So you remember they told us about a road to be built. Well, we had one of those roads is the only road that was built, the one from Smithfield to Dutch Fort.
Right.
So that, and remember I raised the question about the $19 million, and when you talk to anybody that know about road building and road paving, they're saying that $19 million spent to really pave roads that already exist and then build a little connector bridge. In their estimation, I'm talking about experts, based on their assessment of it, they're saying that is about $6 million. But we don't have the figures for that. We're talking about, then there's a road being built up at Lamy Road to the back of, to connect you at the back of Argyle there.
Right.
And then there's one being built, or one we were told being built at Pigeon Point, and one on the other side of Store Bay Local Road on that area.
Right.
So that's the 4 roads in question. The
But
one
so
that
far,
I'm
only
speaking
one.
to, and so far only one was delivered. Remember how we had the issue of a bid coming in one day, and the next day the contract was awarded, and we raised question about that. So that has gone. The one that is in question right now, and we kept asking about this roofing company, it's the road at Pigeon Point. Remember we spoke about this road that was awarded to a roofing company who had no previous record of paving roads, but all of a sudden was able to get a contract for $54 million. And we kept asking, what was the process to identify this contractor? How did you all come up with this contractor? How did you all know that this $54 million that they proposed was cost effective? And we kept getting no answers. We kept getting the ring around. Why are you all leaving out the Tobago contractors? Why can't Tobago contractors do these works? Lo and behold, we were able to get a copy, and I want to raise this so that people understand, because I heard the secretary saying that the figures that I shared were ambiguous figures, meaning that I just pulled those figures out of a hat.
Right.
And I want to give Tobagonians the assurance that I was able to get a copy of the actual document, the bid proposal, and you're seeing it here, the bid proposal by the company.
And this is what we have here, viewers.
Which outlines their rates. So what I did, and I just want to explain to persons how we came up with the comparison. This document is a rate sheet of what is the bonded figures that was agreed and paid to contractors during the period of the previous administration.
And this was the document that you referred to yesterday.
So what we simply did, using all the agreed, so you would see description, those are the line items that you're paying for. Those remain similar. Those are similar across the board.
Right.
So all you're doing is seeing what was paid before as compared to what is being paid now. Simple.
What was paid before? How long ago?
2021. So that would have been just before, up to December 2021.
2 years ago.
Yeah, but remember these contracts were awarded in 2022, somewhere around September.
Right.
So it's really 9 months and
But these figures were calibrated in 2021.
These figures,
yes.
These figures were 2021.
Right.
Previous administration.
Right.
And these figures are 2022
right.
current administration.
Right.
Right? So that's all we did. So we showed Tobagonians what was being paid for the very same type of work, 2021.
2 years ago under previous administration.
As opposed to 2022 under this current administration.
Right.
Right? So you're able to see apples to apples. You're able to see what the previous administration paid to contractors to do road paving, and you're able to see what this administration is being paid.
But the Chief Secretary said it's apples and oranges.
Right, and that's why we are able to dispel that by showing you rate sheets, which clearly identifies the same type of works. So to supply, you would see here this rate sheet. Let me give you one example, because I know the Chief Secretary attempted to discount this issue of the supply of asphalt, bitumen.
Right.
Right? And he was saying that the previous administration only was paying for supply of bitumen. But you would see on this rate sheet, and I want you, B14, sorry, right? Which is the BOQ quantity number. You know, they would have their codes. So B14, to supply, place, and install asphalt mix and bitumen roadway 50 millimeter. And in this document that was proposed, you would see under B15, to supply, place, and install asphalt mix and bitumen roadway 50 millimeters. And the quantity is 2,500, and per ton, the rate is $2,700. So you're seeing here the rate previously was $1,400. So that is a whole difference of about $1,300. So you're almost paying double the price to do the very same thing, to supply, place bitumen, and install bitumen. So you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, we hear you. Now, you would have raised these questions. You raised these questions in the House. You got no response. In fact, you didn't get a satisfactory response to your question or answers to your question.
Yeah, because remember, the Chief Secretary at the time tried to dispel what I was asking him by simply saying that we weren't comparing the same things. I'm now proving that we are dealing with the very same thing. And it is not, therefore, the onus is on the Chief Secretary and the Secretary of Infrastructure to explain to Tobagonians, let us understand, how come you are saying $1,400 was inflated, but yet you have now turned around and you are paying almost double the very inflated cost that you were speaking to? That is the question. That is what needs to be answered. How come are you paying double? And I want people to understand this is the very same arrangement, design, build, finance, meaning that you will put in all your financial inputs, technical inputs, and your physical inputs into this project. You will deliver this project, and it's only when the project is delivered, we will start to pay you. So we are not putting any money into it. We are not giving you any mobilization. We are not giving you any kind of financing. Those were the arrangements that existed then. These are the arrangements that exist now, but yet we are paying almost, and I can go through, let me go through one example again.
From your records, have these contractors been paid were they paid before works?
In the past or now?
No.
No, these contractors, as I said, it's a design, build, finance arrangement.
Right.
So the payment is deferred.
Right.
Right. So
just wanted to get that clear.
Yes, but in the past, the payments were also deferred. So I just want people to understand that the terms are about the same.
Right.
And I also
except
that the rates have
increased.
somehow skyrocketed. And what people have to understand is that the allegation against our Tobago-based contractors is that their costs were inflated and corrupt.
Excuse me.
So I am sure, if you are really, I want people to take away and divorce themselves from the politics. If I'm calling something corrupt, if I'm saying something is rotten, something is bad, and I go and do or put on even more, if I'm saying a price is expensive, this jersey you're trying to sell me is expensive, but yet you go and pay double for our next one. What is that?
How do you justify? And we'd love to know how are the figures being justified?
Well, we have
because
not heard anybody.
Some of what you read yesterday, you're talking from thousands into 100,000s.
For example, I just want Tobagonians to understand. Let me just go into one item when you come into drainage works. There's an item here for the reinforcement, cut, bend, tie, and place 500 lengths of steel, right? Previously, the administration would have paid $21 per steel, right? To supply, bend, cut 1 length of steel, $21. Under this proposal that they accepted from this contractor, they are paying $300 per length of steel to cut, tie, bend, and place. So you move from $21 to $300. And I want people to understand the cost ramification of that. So you end up paying $150,000 when previously you would have paid $10,500. So you understand the kind of difference.
Right, yes. Could inflation be the justification for the increase?
I'm happy you asked that, Ria, because one, I want people to understand this is a 9-month difference. So even if, let's account for some level, let's say inflation, yes, price going up. But we're talking about the difference, this is up to December 2021. And 9 months later, we have not experienced hyperinflation to the point where things are triple and quadruple in terms of steel. And I also want to draw people to the point that in Trinidad, I was able to confirm with the ministry that even now, they are paying rates of $900 per ton for the very same thing. So you understand that even when you put it in the national context, even now, so if we are saying that the question is, and the complaint is, well, things may have gone up, but how come they are getting it done in Trinidad for way less? I'm talking about $900 per ton compared to $2,700 per ton, which if you put it, we are paying triple the price Trinidad is paying their contractors. And no wonder Trinidad contractor would find this quite lucrative. Because if you're being paid in Trinidad $900, and in Tobago we are now paying contractors $2,700. And you ask the question, why? And this tells me, because it is under inflation and inflated cost, this is how people do their underhand dealings. Because you have to create enough profit in this situation to share the spoils. And I want Tobagonians to understand that in this arrangement, the overall profit based on the difference is over $18 million. You understand the difference between that contractor being paid in 2021 under the terms previously and being paid under this administration is over $18 million. So it tells me this work can be done for $18 million less. It means that this contractor have a whole heap of profit. You would have already made profit even under the previous arrangement. But you have a $18 million profit, and where's that money going? That is the question Tobagonians have to ask themselves. Because I heard the secretary saying to a group of persons in Moriah that they currently do not have enough money to do road works, basic maintenance work. But how come you have money to do new roads and pay inflated costs at that? How come? So you don't have money to maintain the roads that we have to drive on a daily basis. All of us face the bad roads. And we are not blaming them because we know over time wear and tear and all these kind of things, the roads will deteriorate. But I'm saying we have roads to maintain. We're saying we don't have money to maintain it. But here you are, paying in excess when you should be trying to beat down contractors to get the best out of it. You are paying inflated costs.
Question coming in from the live here. Sir, are you accusing the Chief Secretary of underhand dealings?
I'm accusing the administration of underhand dealings. I am accusing this administration of underhand dealings. And I make no apologies for that because this speaks to some form of corruption. And when you understand how the contract was given, this wasn't an open tender where you say 5 contractors bid and we would have evaluated and this was the best.
How many contractors?
This is the question we are asking.
Tendered for these jobs,
we've asked the question because the secretary would have given the impression that they had a pool of contractors, about 40. They allowed them to send in proposal and they chose.
Okay.
So that is the impression they are giving us. But nobody knows what was the true process. And because we don't know what is the true process, understand that nobody knew of this company before. This company is not even registered with the procurement office in Tobago. So how did this company know that we were doing these roads? Where did they find this company from Pinal? How? These are the questions. And because there are more questions than answers, I have no choice but to believe there is something dark about this, and I am going to dig until I find it, because you see this $18 million of Tobago taxpayers' money that is somehow being siphoned away. I am going to ensure that someone is held accountable. You know, I keep saying, and you would hear people keep going back to the past, and they like to talk about the past administration. But there was a minority council in place then, and it was upon them, it fell upon them to do their work. I am doing my work on behalf of the people of Tobago, and some people may vex with that, but at the end of the day, I make absolutely no apologies for ensuring that the taxpayers' money, the public purse that we are all entrusted with, that we do justice to that.
Question, and this question has come up several times when we talk about, you know, Tobago contractors being overlooked for Trinidadian contractors. Yes, this is Trinidad and Tobago, and I know that every administration tries to employ the people on the island. But how many Tobago contractors are equipped and well equipped to do the job, qualified and equipped to do the job? How many of our Tobago contractors have the equipment necessary to carry out these works? This is not trowel and mortar. How many of them?
We have, for the last 20 years, the majority of road works done in Tobago have been done by Tobago-based contractors. That's a fact. On top of that, it was interesting that the Chief Secretary himself told us that 95% of the works being done at Lamy Road is being done by Tobagonians. What that really means is that they gave a Trinidadian the contract, but they subcontracted a Tobagonian to do it, in plain and simple layman terms. So it shows that even you've given the contract to someone outside of Tobago, but the contractor is now using a Tobagonian to do the work. It means that the Tobagonians have the capacity. What you had was a clear
capacity is not the question.
No, I'm saying they have the machinery. They have the machinery, because what had happened, and let me explain what had happened before. through the procurement, central procurement office, the THA would have done requests for proposal for persons who can do roadworks. They would have assessed the capacity, and when I say capacity, financial, technical, and so forth, and they would have created a pool of contractors, both from Tobago and Trinidad, who are pre-qualified to do roadworks, and they all would have agreed to these rates. So that's why when you hear the Chief Secretary saying, how come they were sending in invoice and the in-house rate matches the contractor's rate, is because this is called a bonded contract. So you've already agreed beforehand what are the rates that we would supply these services at. And everybody has agreed, and so once I need a roadwork to do, I may say, well, we will go with Tom, Dick, or Harry for this one, because they are all pre-qualified already. That is how it was done in the past, because you pre-qualified them before. In this arrangement, what you're seeing is contractors were chosen out of a hat. Nobody knows where they came from. And you would have sidelined. What is important as well, you sidelined all those pre-qualified contractors, many of whom are Tobagonians. Even if you didn't want to deal with those that you said you're doing the audit with, there are many other contractors in Tobago. And these same contractors that from Trinidad, at least the example up at Lamy Road, they are using Tobago contractors to do the work.
All right. We're going to have to rest it here, but...
You really need to let us have a good conversation, yes, because there's so much to talk, and I feel like sometimes I have to rush, because I really want to take the time for Tobagonians to understand what we're dealing with and what the issues are.
We will chat with our directors, and we will put the necessary measures in place. Just before we wrap things up with you here, just checking in here with the live, some of the concerns coming in. One of the viewers on the live says, Ria Mary still has 2 brand new roads from the last administration done by a Tobago contractor and Tobagonian tradesmen. Good morning to Parks Construction, and Parks Construction is one of those locally owned.
Because what that does is the economy as well. People need to be, when you utilize the Tobago contractors, it's Tobago families, they go back into the hardwares, go back into the supermarket, and that is how the economy. But the secretary knows it, because there's a clip with him explaining this to us.
All right, and one other comment says, why you are not quarreling about the contractor doing work at Crown Point Airport? Why they didn't give it to Tobago contractor?
Because that is a government-to-government arrangement. Everybody knows how these contracts work.
Right,
but
just sharing.
There's also a local content arrangement in those contracts where you have to use a certain level of local content, and we are seeing that. You're seeing trucks up and down the road. It's local people.
Okay. One viewer says here, what's funny is just that the PNM is the one coming forward to essentially call up the same things they've done.
No, it's Kelvin Morris, the minority leader.
Okay, let me just finish, and I hear you. Same things they've done for 21 years. What I want to know is, moving forward, you all want to vote PNM back to continue the same ways? Just showing some of what's coming up on the live.
We focus on politics. We need to see the issues.
All right. Thank you so much. And always a pleasure chatting with you, Minority Leader. Always a pleasure chatting with you. And I agree, half an hour does not do you justice, so we've got to have you in for maybe a full hour or so another time around. But viewers, we want to thank you for joining us for this segment. We've got lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. When we come back this morning, we will be chatting with Cherise McKnight, financial advisor, about budgeting. You will want to hear this. Even as we continue the discussion, how can you keep money in your pocket and not give it away, all right, or spend it foolishly? Budgeting in guava season. So now, viewers, you got to do, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Jesus Christ, mother walk, look at people behavior. Yeah, we getting on bad, we up in your area. Yeah, when you see we coming, you know it's danger. Yeah, we better than you and all of your neighbor. Yeah, and we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. Cause we no afraid, we no afraid.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Our guest on the program this morning is going to give us some ideas and some tips about how we can have some extra money in our pockets, in our accounts at the end of the month. Don't spend it all foolishly. Cherise McKnight is a financial advisor. She's going to chat with us this morning on budgeting in this guava season. Not an orange season, not an apple, but certainly a guava season. Cherise, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. It's good to see you again. I haven't seen you in ages, but it's good to see you.
Yes. I'm alive.
You are alive and
yes,
well.
I'm very well.
Yes,
Thank you.
So you've been budgeting your life because you've been budgeting in this guava season.
The things I talk about are things that I actually do and I've done. Sometimes we think budgeting is a hard thing, but really and truly, it's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
How do we begin? A lot has changed over the last few years. A lot of homes went from two incomes to one, and sometimes half of one. There's been a lot of, like I mentioned, a lot of changes. How do persons rally with the new changes or the recent changes? In some cases, there's been no increase in salary. In many cases, there's been no increase in salary. But there has been escalation in so many prices all around, from building material to foodstuff to clothing to, I mean, everything has increased exponentially, not just by a few dollars. I'm talking exponentially. So how do we survive in this season?
Well, there are things that in the season that we cannot control.
Right.
It's the same way how we have rainy season and dry season. We can't control that. Mother Nature does. But when it comes to your finances, who is the true architect? It's you. Regardless of what is out there, you choose to buy or you choose not to buy.
You said earlier that it's a mindset.
Yes.
Is it a matter of control?
Discipline, control, consistency. For me, how I did it, my husband and I, we went with the ABCs. You know what to avoid. You know what you are aware of. So be aware. And you know how to conserve. Conserve where you need to conserve. And not just because I feel this way, I will do this. You now have to be the adult. You now have to be that big girl and that big boy. Because at the end of the day, the decision you make today affects you 5 years from now.
Right.
So when you are doing budgeting, most people budget for the month. I'm just budgeting for this month. I have $20 and I'm going to budget this $20 for this month. That's not what you're budgeting for. You're budgeting for this $20 to run you for a few months. It's not just this month.
Okay,
and that is what persons don't play with. Okay, so you would say, okay, I'm giving $10 that is going to run my home.
Right.
But how is this $10 really running your home? Is it that you're putting 7 in foodstuff and 3 is going to be utilities and then nothing for the rest?
Nothing for transportation.
Nothing. You're just figuring it out. I might hop a ride. I might. So you have to now know, yes, I'm getting less than I'm accustomed to. Or I'm getting only what I had from last 5 years.
Right.
How am I going to budget going forward? How does the government think I'm going to survive on this? But you also have to realize that life is happening.
What are some of the key areas to concentrate on and one should concentrate on when planning a budget?
Okay, so when you're planning a budget, yes, your necessities are the main things to concentrate on.
Which would be?
Your overcost for living.
Right. So
and
your
when I say
rent,
living,
mortgage.
I don't mean partying. I mean actually living. What
Julian
are the things, what are the things that you actually need?
I'm sorry, Julia.
What are the things that you actually need to function on a day-to-day basis for you and your household?
Right.
Those are your necessities. After you would have satisfied the coverage of your necessities, then you start thinking about contingencies.
Right. What if one of the children fall ill? What if the car breaks? Oh my gosh, there's so many contingencies.
That is where you go with. You go with contingencies. COVID had put it in a place now that now after you think about contingencies, you had to think of a different what if.
You have to have a plan C.
You have to have a plan C that if it is that you are out of the picture, whether you are the main breadwinner or you are part of the breadwinner, the household still have to function. So you have to now think about that. I mean, there's this nice infamous word that Tobagonians don't like to hear, which is insurance. But insurance is to insure. You're ensuring continuity after. And your insurance can be used during and after.
Right.
It's just that you need to have a conversation with the person with whatever policy you have as how can it benefit me now as it can benefit you later. Some people in the COVID season, they had to go back to the insurance.
Right.
And that is where the awareness came in. You need to be aware of what you have available. Can I take a waiver? Can I now say, okay, I would avoid doing this because this is no longer needed. And I'll do this instead because this would carry me further. This has more value in my life right now. Do I have a savings account that is building on a 0.01 interest that I can take from to survive at this point? Because once you are alive, you can make it back.
Right.
And when you borrow from yourself, make sure and pay back yourself with an interest. So be mindful. You want to pay back yourself with an interest. So be aware of all the things that are available. Some people, some insurances, you could actually tap into the cash value of your insurance.
So you need to know what your policy.
You need to know what kind of policy you have and what is available to you. You need to be aware of your finances. What decisions, what financial decision did you make? And if it is you didn't make the right ones, you still have an opportunity to put something in place for further down the line.
Let's talk a little bit about the harsh reality of cutbacks, all right? And what persons need to probably rest aside for a period of time, even as we're budgeting in this guava season. Yes, you're still surviving, but of course you can't just be working 8 to 4 or 9 to 5.
You still want to enjoy life.
You still want to enjoy being alive or to remind yourself that you're alive. But what are some of those things that we need to rest down for some time to get on our feet?
Well, everybody's lifestyle is different, so
Right.
I can't really tell people what to rest down. But one of the things I chose was resting down buying food. So I would buy.
Say it again.
I would buy.
I mean, yes, restaurants and
yes,
food vendors,
they have to survive. So I would still
but
patronize. But instead of patronizing every other day or every week, I would now say, okay, my budget can give me once a week. Me and my kids could go out. And then if I'm accustomed going to fine dining, I may have to shift. I may have to shift because now I may not afford that $500, $600 every other week or every week. But in order for everyone to have the joy, you would do some shifting. And well, my kids and I had picked up something that every week we do one local thing. So you would either sit together, we make nut cake, or you'll figure out how to make bene ball, or you would do something. These are things that you can do, and it builds a skill. A skill which can also be converted into money. So you have to also have that thought process in mind when you're going through with your budget.
Now, we spoke earlier about having that plan, that A plan, but also a B and a C plan. But having that secondary income, a passive income that works for you while you're asleep and relaxing or working hard at your main job.
That is also an option. Having an alternate form of income coming in is also a good thing, but it's not for everybody. It takes a certain belly in our terms. I have done certain forms of alternate income. I still am in certain forms of alternate income. But at the same time, I have the mental to go through.
But
not everyone has it. And it's not like it's a skill that you just born with. You have to develop it over time and have that stick-to-itiveness into it. But having an ongoing income is very helpful. When I decided to be a sole mommy, my alternative income helped my husband. When COVID came, I was at home with everybody, but the alternate income was a plus. It was able to assist me to continue building my home. It was able to assist my children to continue having certain joys in life. That's why I said when you make a financial decision, it's not for now. Because I would not have foresaw COVID. And when I went home, I was like, Lord, drink some hot water, Gil, and push through. And I still lived a very comfortable life. I traveled frequently before COVID and all of it. And those are things I didn't even do when I was working. And I was making less income.
All right. And your advice to our viewers out there, how do they survive?
Presently, you can't change what is already done. So knowing your position is the first and foremost thing you have to do. Know where you are. Financially, know where you are. Don't try to screen yourself. You know where you are. So once you have the facts laid down before you, the ABCs works. Know what to avoid, because you will know where your money goes. If you don't know, I would suggest you get a little book and start tracking. Track yourself and see exactly where that money is filtered through. And then now you will know what to avoid and what you cannot avoid and what should not be avoided. Okay. So the ABCs always work. Avoid, be aware, and be conservative. Not because it's something I like, mean put everything over there. Pinch of salt, pinch of salt. It all adds up.
Yeah, and sometimes you've got to look away.
Sometimes you have to say,
your eye, just
you
look
can't
away.
buy those
That's
shoes right now. You have other important things, remember. And I've been through that.
Yeah.
I have been through that where
We
I was
all
like,
have.
I had to make that decision. Do I travel now or do I buy a pallet of blocks? Which one is more important? The blocks more important. So I had a shift.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Some good
ABC,
information.
and it
ABC.
works.
All right. Well, I'm going to thank you very much. Budgeting in this guava season. Thank you again, Sharice McKnight, for chatting with us on the program this morning. It's crucial. It's timely. All right, viewers. Okay. We've got lots more coming up on the program. We'll be chatting with Astra Winchester when we come back this morning. She's a band leader of Astra Winchester Creation. She's going to tell us more about Caribbean unity. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off. Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting this morning with Astra Winchester, who is a band leader, the band leader of Astra Winchester Creation. This morning our focus is on Caribbean unity. Good morning and welcome to Astra.
Good morning, thank you. Good morning.
Now let's get your quick thoughts before we get into Caribbean unity. What are your thoughts on what's been happening within the Tobago space, the cultural space, with what's been happening with band leaders and the amount of money that has been allocated to mass and bands?
Right. We were told that 1.3 is our budget for this year.
Yes.
However, for the previous years, we have received about, I think it's 2.5 million. That means that our prize monies will be cut probably drastically. We may not even have grants to assist us. So that is really, really not good enough for the band leaders at all.
So are you in support with Ms. Bedlow? Are you standing in support of Ms. Bedlow on her stance? You know, if the monies are not increased, there's a shutdown, you're going to be boycotting?
Well, actually, I already started my presentation for this year's carnival, so I'm going to go through with it, you know. But we need to increase that prize money. That 1.3 is just not enough for us.
Question, as a band leader, how do you acquire your funding because I mean, you will have to put out some initial money to start making costumes before you can attract customers.
Right.
So how do you get your funding?
Well, my family is there to support me all the way. We come together and we support each other. We put money. You know, my sisters assist me. How much do you need, Astra? You know, we go to Trinidad, we shop, we buy materials, and we work together as a team to make this a success for us. Yeah.
All right. So you stand in favor. All right. So tell us this morning, and I know my directors is already signaling that we've got limited time, but tell us this morning about what you've been working on, because you indicated here that you've already started putting out. Yes, you've already. So tell us about Caribbean unity.
All right. Actually, that was not my theme for this year's carnival. The costumes were for October carnival, actually, and because of the poor turnout of customers, the outfits will remain on my hands.
So what happened for October carnival?
Everyone just decided, okay, we prefer February carnival. We're not into this October carnival thing. So my turnout was very poor. I did not make any amount of money, for October carnival. So the costumes remain on my hands. So however, I had to think, yes, these are my presentations for this year. Right? So I decided to just use the same costumes for October and just make some changes, enhance the costumes for this February. And this is what I came up with, Caribbean Unity.
Yeah, I just heard one of our cameramen just, signal there at that last photo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is Barbados. The colors are yellow, blue, and black. And we are seeing the logo, the trident in the middle. Yeah, that's a symbol of the Barbados flag.
Okay.
Yes. So
and why the concentration on Barbados this year?
Well, actually, it's all we're featuring 6 different countries. Remember, it's Caribbean Unity, so I'm featuring 6 countries from the Caribbean.
And this
This is Barbados.
Barbados.
Yes. I also did Jamaica as well. So still to come, we have Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Lucia, and Antigua.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's the concentration. Now you said that this happened. This was really for the October carnival.
Yes.
All right.
However, yes.
And what are the numbers looking like this year? Because I mean, carnival is less than a month away.
Yes, yes.
Less than a month away. So what are the numbers looking like for you now?
Well, I have some registrations. So far, they are much more than October. Persons are calling me, they're all interested in taking part this year. It's a better turnout, I think, than October, for sure. Definitely.
All right. Now, we've had stakeholders on the program within recent times talking about the carnival and, tailoring or altering if the material is becoming very expensive, moving away from feathers and beads. And not knocking feathers and beads. Right. But what are your thoughts on traditional mass or Tobago's carnival returning to its roots of traditional mass?
Well, I agree with that. Traditional mass, I think, is more cost effective. It's not as expensive as feathers and beads. So yes, we could really turn back to traditional mass. The sailor mass, fancy Indians and stuff like that. It's more, yes, reasonable.
What sort of figures would it take to produce what we just saw on the screen?
The costumes that I just...
Yes.
Wow, I mean, feathers are $225 a yard now. I mean, it's raised drastically from the last time I purchased it.
And what was the previous figure?
The previous figure was like $125. So it's not like $225 a yard for feathers. So it's very expensive. And then rhinestones is a thing by itself. That's also, you know, another cost, another factor of expense. You know, so the costumes are, what should I say? That is being sold for $1,000, but obviously it's more. But I can't sell it too high because the people in Tobago will not purchase the costumes for more than that.
So your markup is very, very low?
Yes, it's low. If I go beyond $1,000, the costumes will not be sold. Right,
So
and the
this is
cost
all
is all inclusive as well. It's $1,000 for the frontline costume you just saw there, all inclusive. I mean, you're getting food and drinks with that as well. So
And
I think it's very reasonable.
all of that is included in your $1,000?
Yes, all of that. The headpiece, the necklace, the paddy bra, and everything that you saw is $1,000, all inclusive. And I think
Food
that's
and
very
drink.
Food and drinks.
All day?
All the unlimited. $4,000. And there's also a backline section for $500. Those who don't want to go so expensive, just a simple bath suit and the headpiece, $500. Also all inclusive.
Also all inclusive.
Yes, so that's very reasonable.
Very reasonable. And in light of the increases that we've seen quite recently.
Yes, increase in cost in feathers, rhinestones, fabric, everything is being increased.
So you agree with the thinking, you agree with the thought of returning to traditional masks?
Yes, I agree with that.
All right.
I agree.
Now, Astra, how can persons contact you?
Okay, they can contact me on my cell number 793-5056. I'm located in Patience Hill on the junction, the main road. I'm also on Instagram, astra.winchester.creations.
All right.
You can contact me there.
All right, and you still have costumes available?
I have costumes available, yes, in all sections. The other sections will be released tomorrow. That's Trinidad and Tobago, I have Grenada, St. Lucia, and Antigua to be released.
All right, and again, you said you did not plan on going with Caribbean Unity.
No, I did not.
Where were your thoughts?
My thoughts were what
2023?
lurks in the dark. And then I had to just change my theme, my concept, my synopsis all entirely, just because I had those costumes remaining for October, and I wanted to utilize them, you know, just not have them there wasting. So I just put pen to paper. I said, okay, Astra, you could do this. Think about something as you could utilize these costumes, you know. And I came up with Caribbean Unity. The costumes were already in the colors, the blue for Barbados, the green. I had them there already. So I said, okay, Astra, just be creative. Think about something. And I came up with this theme, Caribbean Unity.
And you designed these?
I designed the costumes, yes.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for being on the program.
Thank you so much for having
I wish
me.
you all the best this year for the season.
Thank
And
you.
we trust that you get them all sold.
Thank you so
and you
much.
get
I
your
hope so
money
too.
back. All right, but thank you very much for chatting with us. Viewers, we're going to leave it there for today. We've got GMT. Yeah, we got GMT coming up in just a little bit, and we're going to head on over to Candace out in Charlottesville, certainly enjoying her day out there. And again, if you're visiting Tobago, East Tobago is a must visit. So we want to thank all of you for being with us this morning, whether you were viewing us on the live or on TV. We say thank you to you. We thank you for your comments on the live. Thank you. We continue to include you because what you've got to say is also very important to us. Tobago, we're going to leave it there. Have a great day. Have a safe weekend. And God willing, we will see you on Monday, even as we head on over to GMT with Candace. Bye-bye.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
No class party, not a problem. Instead, Goodwood Secondary School opted for a non-traditional celebration. The institution hosted its first annual Brunch in the Woods, a picnic affair.
Brunch in the Woods is a picnic affair where it's like our end of term class party, but we're going on a larger scale. So it's a picnic affair where we bring everything out in the open, we celebrate under the sun, we eat, we drink, we have entertainment by our very own kings and queens of Goodwood Secondary School, and it's an opportunity for us to have all the stakeholders on the compound with us and just celebrate.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Zoisha Hackett, thoroughly enjoyed this unique event. She even had the opportunity to learn.
I just want to comment on how creative an event like this is. I mean, coming to the end of an academic year, an academic term at that, where we've had so many challenges just getting back into the what we call regular curriculum. When you see events like this, you're very, very impressed by the fact that a school has been able to use nature, right, and the balance of the natural environment and bring that as a part of the curriculum and have students so immersed in this educational experience.
Past and present students were happy to be part of an event like this.
It was a very good idea. It is going really, really nice. It turned out better than I expected. It was executed nicely.
I think the brunch was well executed. It's been a long time since we had an event, a school event, and I was looking forward to it. And the expectations was high, and they succeeded. It was a success.
Well, it's the same thing for me. I think that it was one of the best ideas Goodwood ever put forward to. And I think everything is looking amazing, and it could happen many more times again.
The initiative is a good initiative. It shows that there's a lot of camaraderie going on within the schools. Alongside when we got invited to work alongside with Miss Maslin. I was happy to get on board because we always dreamt of coming back to the school to actually do something for the school. So I'm glad Miss here. So we know we're seeing this going a lot further than here today.
Brunch in the Woods, a picnic affair, was held on the school's compound in Goodwood. I'm Marlon Gottsliben for Let's Talk Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia. Let's go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson and I am coming to you from the beautiful Charlottesville. Yes, folks, we are in Charlottesville live, just enjoying the space. We at Colson Chalet guest house, at very, very famous, very historic guest house here on the Charlottesville front. But before we get into that and get into more of me being here in Charlottesville, let's get into the news in 90 seconds. Minority Leader Calvin Morris accused the Farley Augustine-led THE administration of inflating costs on projects. Morris was referring to a $19 million contract by a roofing construction company from Trinidad under a design-build finance arrangement, comparing the breakdown of expenses with one of the contracts from a Tobago contractor currently under investigation. Morris stated the inflated costs amounted to a difference of $4.24 million. He questioned the procurement methods after Tobago contractors came under scrutiny for projects engaged under the previous THE administration. Meanwhile, the present-day work culture of public servants presented a challenge for the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary, Sitika Williams-Orr, who is responsible for overseeing the public service. She spoke on Thursday's episode of Full Disclosure on Tobago Updates. She explained that the public service is riddled with absenteeism and a lack of good working ethics, preventing policies and duties to be carried out in an efficient and timely manner. The Assistant Secretary called on public servants to take pride in their work and also make accurate reports to the Administrator and the Secretary. And now nationally, police are warning parents that if they do not steer children away from a life of crime, they will be held liable in court. Senior Superintendent Kerwin Francis of the Northern Division issued the warning at a press conference yesterday. He suggested that parents who notice antisocial or troublesome behavior in their children should take them to the police station where officers could talk to and guide the child. Referring to the Anti-Gang Act, Francis stated that one section in the legislation deals with prosecution for people who are gang members, but who are not gang members, but assist gangs by providing direct support or hiding them from the police, which implicates parents. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Well, viewers, like I said, we are here in Charlottesville. I'm not too sure if we can get that live shot right now, and you can see that cruise ship in harbor. Yes, folks, we are just in the middle of just this cruise ship season, and we are going to get into some of those discussions. And to talk to us about, just the season for this year, just getting back into cruise just after the pandemic, we have none other than Mr. Orville Dillon, who is the Director of Cruise associated with the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. A special good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, Candice. I'm fine, thank you.
All right, great. So we have a cruise ship in harbor and it's the Star Legend.
Yes, it is.
And how many passengers are on board?
Well, about 350. That's the amount. We don't normally know if, as yet, if 350 is on board, but the capacity is for that.
So how many cruise ships have we had in Charlottesville for the season so far?
We are about 5 for the season already.
And we're expecting some more?
We are expecting some more.
Right. So how was
because this one, when it leaves here today, it go to Barbados and then return on Sunday.
Nice.
Yes.
So how was since the cruise ship season began, how was the visitors been coming into the island and so on?
Oh, well, plenty of visitors been coming. Due to the new start, we have to say it new because after COVID, right? We get a few ships and we get good people coming in. Mm-hmm. Because most of the ships, they start from Barbados. And Barbados is close to us. So Barbados, sometimes they go to Trinidad first and then to Tobago, or Tobago and then to Trinidad, mm-hmm. which is good for us. So we are getting good visitors. And it's a great change to get back into it.
Yes.
Because we lost everything. And seeing that we were the last to come out in the Caribbean islands because all other islands start before us. Mm-hmm. Because our borders wasn't open.
Yes.
So when our borders opened, we still didn't start back cruise. Mm-hmm. So cruise take long to start. And I find it's going good for the time being.
And I mean, I might be wrong, but I believe that for this season, we've actually had more cruise ships landing in, or docking, I should say, in Charlottesville, as opposed to in 2019, that cruise ship season.
The 2019 cruise ship season, 2018, 2019, mm-hmm. had plenty ships Docking in Charlottesville more than in Scarborough. When you check the count, Charlottesville had more ships than Scarborough. That's Charlottesville all the time with these small ships. Charlottesville does well with them because they are coming from Barbados, and Charlottesville and Barbados close.
Now, of course, these visitors that are on this cruise ship, they're a little bit different from the ones that might come, let me say, in like the major ships like Carnival and the Costa ships and so on. Tell me a little bit about these tourists. Like, what makes them different, and why Charlottesville is just a great place for them to be?
What I understand that these ships bring more retirees, like retired judge, retired doctors and these things. So they don't want the busy activity. They want to be laid back, and Charlottesville is the place for that.
Yes.
Because Charlottesville, you see, it's quiet, laid back. I guess maybe you spend the night here and it's a
perfect
quiet
place to be.
Exactly. So they're more relaxed. And then when they get off the ship, they would prefer to go like the reef, the rainforest, and these kind of places. Pirates Bay is a nice beach that these cruisers that come to Charlottesville, they love to go Pirates Bay. And they take a little boat and they go to Lovers Bay.
Yes.
That's on the other side, where they see the colored sand. So they love that.
Right. Now, I mean, how many tourists have we had come off the vessel so far for the season, both in Charlottesville and at Scarborough?
Well, we have 4,005 something in November, and in December, just a little above that. So we have roughly about 9,000 visitors within Charlottesville and Scarborough.
And what can you tell us about the revenue that we may have experienced on the island so far?
Oh, the revenue, plenty revenue, because let us say these 9,000 visitors spend at least $50. Now they can spend more because sometimes when they take the taxi according to the hours, but let us put it at least $50, right? And then when you multiply this 9,000 visitors by $50, you know how far we get there. So that is enough. That is plenty revenue per month. Let us say, I'll put it that I spend like $500,000 TT every month. Now I want to get that up like
Certainly.
$500,000 TT every day and not every month. Because in other Caribbean islands, some of them is every day, $500,000 in their currency.
Yes.
So if I can get that up, it will be very good for Tobago.
Now, of course, being part of TTAL, one of their jobs is to go out there and meet with cruise lines and bring them here to Tobago. What's the discussions been like? How has the reception been on the outside to coming back to Tobago, or even for some of them who have never come to Tobago before to start coming to Tobago?
Well, I went to Santo Domingo in October. I went to a cruise conference there. And the talks was very good because they also want to do night cruise in Tobago, in Scarborough and in Charlottesville.
And why is that? Like, what's so different that they want to do night cruises here?
Because we never done it before, but they just want to see what our island look like in the night and the activities that we have in the night also.
So then we're seeing for next cruise season, starting from November, that we can have a lot more cruise lines.
Yes, we can have a lot more. But one thing that we have to do, we have to make different tours.
Yes,
because
and I want to get to that discussions a little bit.
Our tours are 30-something years old, all of them. Because when cruise started in Charlottesville, I remember we didn't have a jetty. But the tender used to drive right up to the sand, and sometimes they lift them off because they don't want their feet to get wet.
Yes.
So they lift them off, and that is many years ago. I've been doing this tourism business, taxi business for 42 years now. That's how long I've been doing it. So I know when Charlottesville starts. I know when they declare Charlottesville as a port of entry. Then after they declare Charlottesville as a port of entry, that's the time they build the jetty.
Yes.
But cruise ship used to come before, like the Windjammer and those cruise ships. And when they come to Charlottesville, small ones, there was no jetty, so they have to rush the tender to the sand, and when the tide gets low, they jump off.
Well, at least we have a jetty now.
No.
Now, as we're talking about tours, now the tours that we have here in Tobago, I mean, we have some good ones, but they need some work because, I mean, a lot of the cruise ships, they actually sell tours to their passengers. They have the brochures all lined up, so the visitors, as they come, before they get into each port, they get a chance to choose the tours. But what is needed for us to really develop our tours in such a way that we can qualify for those that are offered to tourists?
Now, what you said, yes, they might get the brochure of Tobago.
Yes.
But it's not the brochure. The brochure is one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they wouldn't come off because of the brochure. The ship would not sell the brochure. The ship will sell a tour that you prepare. Okay? So with the waterfall need plenty enhancing.
Yes.
You know? So if the waterfall want to sell tours, they have to enhance the waterfall, make the waterfall more attractive.
And accessible.
Yes.
And I want you to talk about that whole question of liability, because that is extremely important to the tours that the cruise ship sells. And there's a reason for that. So I want you to just explain that a little bit.
Well, liability, the tour operators, they have to get a liability insurance to operate. That is one that they bought from the cruise line. They sell that because they don't want, if something happened to their passengers, that they have to come looking for you in Trinidad and Tobago. They are right there to pay whatever bill. So the tour operators must have an insurance with the cruise line. But we, the taxi drivers, must have a liability insurance also to operate. Because if something happens, you cannot depend on your conventional taxi insurance to do that. Because they will, if they have to sue you, they will sue for that and more. But if it's liability, the liability only have a certain amount that you can pay.
And as our people catching on to that idea of, because, you know, I mean, we complain a lot about how, you know, when we have some of these cruise ships come in and the passengers get off, they don't take up the tours, or they don't take up some of the taxi drivers and so on. But are we catching on to what we need to do as tour operators, as people in the tourism business, to prepare to welcome these guests?
Well, I must say I work with an association, and we do that. We have our public liability insurance. We have everything in place. So because I've been the president of that association for some years now, I used to tell them, I'm not working with you all without the liability insurance, so we have to get it. Because for years I've been going to cruise conferences, and I understand. I used to work with St. Lucia.
Yes.
You know, two taxi companies in St. Lucia. They are Holiday Taxi and Courtesy Taxi. They join together and they go out and look for cruise ship. And when they go, Holiday Taxi used to take me, because I used to work with them, to go. And they used to tell me, okay, you can talk about Tobago. Don't because you're coming to you, because you're from Tobago. You're doing the same business like us, and we want you to get
some business as well.
Right. And I used to do that. And most of the time, they are the same ships that pass in St. Lucia that comes to Tobago. And they used to tell me, Mr. Dillon, your tours in Tobago are old. You need to change them. You need to do something. So we are looking at some new tours now, like the Cocoa Tour. You know, I don't know if you know the old way that they used to do the cocoa. You know,
and it's on Tobago Estates.
Yes, we can do also the dirt oven bread. We can do also a thing that we do. We have cassava. We can do the farine making in the copper. All these things we can do.
So basically, a little focus on gastronomy tourism, where we're focusing on food. Now, what about when cruise ships come into harbor, especially in Scarborough? See, you could walk around here in Charlottesville and it's gorgeous. Like, you don't need to go anywhere. You could just just relax here on the beach and it's perfect. Yeah. But in Scarborough, we have that complaint where people are walking around, it's a shanty town, you know, there's nothing there attractive for our tourists and so on. What are we doing to fix that? What are we doing to improve what's been a problem for so many years?
You know, you're right, because one of the things that I went on a cruise ship in Scarborough, and when I look over at the botanical garden, I see where we can improve the botanical garden to make it more attractive. I don't know if you get a chance to see the port now, the port of entry. Even Charlottesville at the jetty, right?
Yes,
you
that's
see
a welcome sign.
Right. I asked in a meeting, you know, I get with the board and the chairman and we take a walk to the port, and then I said, hey, with what I'm seeing outside, this is not good. We need something that can welcome the people.
What about directing tourists to where the points of interest are? Because a lot of times they just walk aimlessly around and, you know, they end up in places that are just not so fun or not so enticing.
Well, then that could be, you know, we have people. You know, we have people on spots, different spots, you know, to tell them, well, okay, don't go this way, go this way. You know, like marshals to guide them.
Yes, because I know in Port of Spain, they do that. They have people from the ministry, they are dressed in certain colored T-shirts and they distribute maps as to where people can go. But we don't see that happening here in Tobago.
No, because we don't have it. And that we can do, we can start that. Because they distribute maps, but on the port, there's a tourism booth there. But, you know, that because sometimes these people really go far.
Yes.
On Shore Park. Sometimes you see them in some places that they're not supposed to even go.
Yes.
Yes, so we can adapt that, you know, so that they can just stay around the areas that they're supposed to be.
And perhaps it could create some employment for young people as well, even, you know, a partnership with THDI, you know, get the students involved.
Yeah, and we can also get some volunteers and that they can learn from there and get up to be good tourism entrepreneurs.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. I know a lot of people are watching and they're going to be holding you accountable. So, folks, this is the man behind the cruise ships. So if you have your questions, you have your complaints, you know, I guess reach out to him. I'm putting you on the spot. No problem. All right. But I mean, there's a lot of work that we need to get done, but we're certainly looking forward to what's to come, especially for the next cruise season with the promise of a lot more ships and just the revitalization of our tourism industry.
Yes, I guess that we will get more ships because one of the things is that the fuel that they go in and use now, remember the ships using now, we sell that in Trinidad. So they are looking at Trinidad to load from, like how they are loading from Barbados.
Yes.
So they will be loading from Trinidad because they will come in, they will get the fuel. And then from Trinidad, one of the things that we are trying to do is to get, when they pass in Trinidad, they come to Tobago.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it there because we are out of time for this segment. But viewers, don't go anywhere because we have a lot more coming up for you on the program right here in beautiful Charlottesville.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new
Maelakai
morning.
Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Maelakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is yeah. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much my heart good day. Socialize.
Socialize! socialite.
27th of January, look for where.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago viewers. We are here live in Charlottesville at the Colson Chalet, this historic guest house right on the beachfront of gorgeous, beautiful, pristine Charlottesville. One of my favorite places on this planet, I should say. All right, and now we are continuing our conversations about tourism naturally, and we are being joined by Mr. Nazib Mohammed, who is the Deputy Chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, just as we are having visitors starting to come off of the ship that's in harbor right now. So a special good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much, Candice. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for accommodating me.
Right. And I think that this is perhaps the first time you're on with Tobago Updates since receiving your appointment.
Yes, it is. Actually, I spoke to Mr. Dillon this morning, Director Dillon, my fellow director, and I told him, I said, I didn't make up Tobago Updates, so it's really, really nice to be here.
All right. So give me a little bit about your background and, how did you get into this industry?
Well, actually, I am a Tobagonian, right? I was born here, grown here. My choice was actually to go into banking. So I've spent over 37 plus years in banking. I took early retirement to be part of the change and transformation of Tobago. And that is why I'm actually here.
So what is your heart's desire? What is your vision for TTAL and taking it forward and even just taking Destination Tobago forward?
Well, this is not just by the way. It has been a long time in the making. I recall going in, when I was in primary school, going into high school, and we used to ask, why is Tobago, where is Tobago, and how come Tobago is not where it's supposed to be? And really and truly, we are looking for, being part of the actual organization, looking forward to actually putting Tobago back on the map to be the premier island destination. And we are competing with some of our fellow Caribbean islands, and they are doing quite well, and the reason is, why is Tobago not there? And we have to do things a little differently. And I must say, for the past 9 months, going into 10 months that I have been on the board, this new board has really done a big transformation. And the new administration by extension, right? Our chief secretary always echoes these sentiments. We want to be this best little planet on the island.
Yes. So one of the things about the tourism industry, especially recently, we've changed quite a lot because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It has impacted the way that tourism happens. How has that pushed Tobago forward, or has it pushed Tobago forward? What opportunities has it created for Tobago to be bigger and better than it was before?
Well, I would say COVID-19, Tobago was struggling before. I want to be honest with you, the tourism island was not, it was actually, if you look by the statistics, it was actually going down.
Yes.
What COVID-19 did was, I would always use the terminology, it blew it out of proportion. It actually exploded. But it gave us an opportunity, because, out of chaos becomes, where we could actually set the new tone. It is a perfect opportunity to change how we do things. And out of that, we actually started to do things differently. You would notice that, coming back with the cruise lines, how we actually present ourselves, how we package our entire destination. We have some new ideas that is coming on stream, and it will be revealed. I don't want to burst the bubble before, but I want to tell you that, Mr. Dillon may have mentioned, the kind of archaic tours we have over 30 years. We have some new ideas. We're bringing some new things to the table, and we actually saw an improvement. I want to say that, I've actually heard some from the Scarborough and as well as from Charlottesville. I've heard people say, this is the first time. I mean, to hear that the first time that actually seen a true thrust of how we receive our tourists. We also started our service initiative, Uplift Service, and trying to transform how we actually perceive Tobago and the service industry that we provide. So, we have asked the various stakeholders, measure where you are. See, and just try not to, we want to go par excellence, but let's go to the next level as to from better to good, and then we take it up from very good and so on. So we are not asking you to make a significant jump, but we are asking you to understand where we are, what we are, and what we're going to be going, and where we want to go. But let's do it together because we are Tobago.
Now, we have a lot, like you mentioned, you have a lot of tours that has been there for 30 years and so on. How is TTAL coming alongside these tour operators to help them improve their tours so that it can be attractive to cruise lines as they come in, or even people that just come off the airplanes and so on?
Okay, so let's use cruise line because we're actually on a cruise destination. So we have engaged a training format to some of our various stakeholders where we actually paying for them to be trained. And this is a cruise trainer. I think it's Aquila. I believe that's the name. Forgive me if I say it wrong because Mr. Dillon is more into this. But I know for a fact that we actually adopted and we signed up for maybe about between 10 to 20 persons to do the actual training so that we will be certified as cruise receiving destination. And that will also augur well that the trainer trains other people and they will actually learn more so that eventually we will all be on the same platform. You talked about some of these things that, and I really don't want to say because Mr. Dillon talked about the dirt over and he talked about the cocoa, he talked about things like that. But traditionally, those are traditional things. But I want to just whisper. Think about, we would have one of the greatest unique things in Tobago, the Tobago wedding.
Yes.
Witnessing that, the goat race. It don't have to just be Easter. It could be something that is occasional based on our demands. And harvest. And why I say harvest, I don't think any island in the Caribbean does harvest like Tobago. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think they do.
so it's really about bringing that element of, we always talk about Tobago being a family-oriented, warm, welcoming, and so on. We want to make sure that we don't just talk it, but we walk the talk.
Now, you brought up that point, and it leads to, how do we get people to buy into it in a real way? Because you can have those plans on that administrative level, but if it doesn't get down to the people on the ground who are doing the jobs every single day, that are interacting with the visitors as they come in, how do we get them to really realize the bigger picture that is tourism and how much they need to step up the game to be part of making this product as a whole better?
All right. So we talked about uplift and servicing.
Right.
So think about you actually putting that into the schools. Understanding that the product that you have, or Tobago as a product, and Tobago as a destination, actually getting the young minds intrigued, making sure that they understand why it is important to welcome these visitors, how it could be expand on it, how we could be able to thrive in it. And that, think about a child. When we're selling a toy, we do Christmas time, we create toys. The children don't have money, The parents have the money. But the children influence the parents to say, listen, mommy or daddy, I want that. So think about where the child will go home from the schooling system and start talking about mommy and daddy. You know what they talked about statistically? They talked about service excellence. And they'll say, what is that? And it will sprung a conversation. Once the child becomes intrigued and involved, the parents support, as everything else. So we believe that putting it into the primary schools, putting it where you are grounded, This is not new science. This is not rocket science. This is not new to the market. But I think it's important that we in Tobago understand the product we have and be proud of the product we have. And once we become that, we will start pushing it further than where it's supposed to, where it is right now.
What about establishing the linkages and so on? And you mentioned students, but how are you linking with, like, say, THDI to make sure that, students are going through it they're taking tourism at a tertiary level and giving back to Tobago?
All right. So I would use the analogy of a planter, a gardener, right? So the gardener plants his produce, and he has, let's say, 100 acres of pepper. He has a beautiful product, but what does he do with it? How does he market it? How does he get it out there? So, yes, I agree. We have a lot of sister companies that we'd have to do a little more collaboration with, right? The TADCO, the THDI, the TTALs. We all have to be on the same page. Remember, these were created to really foster and grow tourism. But if you have all these lovely peppers and no way to put it, then really and truly we have to create that pathway. What we have done is that you would understand when we had the lockdown with COVID. So the government, the central government, and had created the assistance program, right? The temporary relief program basically was a grant to assist these hoteliers and guest houses, even our taxi drivers, to put them back onto a better footing where we could be able to receive and be in a better aesthetical position. Now, having said that, we have also tried to ensure that whilst we have them engaged, we also let them know certification, how do we do things together, and really have a collaborative effort, because as I said, it is all of us together. If we you see what they say, a divided house can't stand, right? But a united house stands firmly.
And of course, Tobago tourism, I should say, thrives on those linkages and having everybody in that same network working together towards one goal.
I want to expand a little bit, Candace. Okay. Tourism is not just about receiving someone from overseas or even our local visitors from Trinidad. Tourism is health, tourism is education, tourism is sports. Tourism goes far beyond what is the natural, what people perceive tourism to be. Well, as you know, I don't want to use the terminology as this person that comes off a ship or comes off an airline, right, and visits your island for a couple of hours or for a couple of weeks or a couple of months as a tourist. Tourism goes far beyond that. So there's a lot more in tourism that we could actually expand on. So it is not limited to just as I say, a visitor. As I said, it's health, it's education, it is sports, it is a lot more than what people actually had just in their minds.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that this board that I'm on right now, I mean, I must say, our executive chair, Alicia Edwards, I mean, her thinking, her phenomenal philosophies, her vision of where we want to place Tobago. I mean, and cruise is something that has always been, to me, maybe not having its full face value or full impact. That has changed. And just the mere fact that I could tell you that we have engaged a trainer, a cruise trainer, to certify our persons on the island. That tells a lot.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more about that, but I think we're out of time for this segment. But I want to thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for being on with us and to just giving us your perspective as a deputy chair of TTAL. And we're looking forward for more conversations as we work towards building our tourism industry here in Tobago.
Once again, I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to be here. Thanks much.
Well, viewers, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into something a little bit more, so you don't want to miss it.
Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it And once again, they better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Sun start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun.
Morning Tobago, and yes viewers, we are live right here in Charlottesville. You are seeing just the beautiful sights. We are seeing the visitors come up the cruise ship. It is, let me get the time correct because people don't think that we're live, but we are live. It is now 8:49 a.m. Yes folks, we are here live, and we are here specifically at the Carlson Chalet guest house right here on the beachfront in Charlottesville. It's one of the oldest guest houses here in Charlottesville, and I would say probably in Tobago. I mean, one that has quite a lot of history and so on. And then none other to tell us about that history than Miss Penelope Nicholson, who Miss Annette Alfred, sorry, who is the owner and operator. Well, this has been a part of your family. Let me put it that way, right? So good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning. Thank you for your invitation, your nice invitation. I'm too happy to have you here in Charlottesville with us.
Right, so first of all, tell me about this guest house and when did it start? When was it constructed?
No, the whole plant comprises 3 different buildings. A cottage, that's behind you. Behind me, there's one plant, and then the other is there above us there.
Right, so we're basically in the middle of all
where
3.
Where I was born.
Where you were born.
And I was actually born in the house that's behind me.
Wow.
I wasn't born in the hospital, I was born right here.
So, like, what year? Do you say what was?
Our house, the one behind me, was built in around 1926. My grandfather, Ivan Nicholson, built that house for his son, Maurice, better known as Popo. The one that is before me was built around 1937 for another son that lived in Venezuela. That's my grandfather doing all of this.
Wow.
And the cottage there was where it was more like a great house, but then after it changed and it became a cottage, that was built by my grandfather also. He was into that kind of experiment, building houses, using all local material from his estate to build up here. So here's where I was born, and here's where I grew up. All the wood that you see on the buildings, they came from my grandfather's estate.
And right here, around here in Charlottesville?
In Charlottesville, up to St. Rose, Bukhari. He had a lot of property around there, and he built these for his children.
Now, it's because of its age, it's very unique, and it has some special elements to it. So what can you tell me about that?
Well, many years ago, my sisters, after we decided to get into the tourism business, we refurbished the buildings. And then we did some work, even though we like the quaint buildings, we also wanted to keep some, modernize it. So we did some modern amenities to it. But bearing in mind that we don't want it to be a modern day thing.
No.
But there are some things you need to change, and we had to change those. And now we have Colson Chalet, about 10 bedrooms, and we have suites, the Colonial Suite, we have the Morris Suite. You know, everything has a name. If you look up, if you go upstairs, you'll see my parents' bed, four-poster bed that came from England those days. You'll see that their bureau and all of that. They are around here within these buildings.
So there's a lot of antique furniture in many of these rooms.
You might have heard me say a Morris Suite.
Yes.
I don't know if you know about Morris chairs.
No,
so the chairs,
I'm not, I don't know.
Morris
I'm probably
chairs.
too young to know about
Too
that.
young. Well, the Morris chairs would have, the Morris Suite has that Morris chair furniture set in it and stuff like that.
Wow.
Even the bureau that my parents got when they were married in 1933, they are still here on this property.
So basically, there's a lot of things here that are almost 100 years old.
Yes, 100, and a bit later I'll take you up to the back where my great-grandmother lived, and that would be about 150 years old.
Wow.
It's not usable now, but we still have it there, and we are hoping that we can develop it into a heritage site.
Yes, certainly. And you know, when you look at old photos of Charlottesville, this was it's just very prominent.
Yeah.
And it, you know, I mean, the paint has changed, but the style and the look of the building has not changed
Well,
since.
we wanted to maintain that. We wanted to maintain.
And
I mean, I need to add here. You know, as a child, I didn't know Charlottesville was so beautiful.
Really?
No. When I went away, because I left here in 1959. When you went and you came back, then you realized what you had. The sea putting it to bed in the night, the waves just putting it to bed. And you know, this every morning you get up, you go on the beach, you bathe, even before we went to school. But I didn't know that was a novelty and we were enjoying something special.
Yes.
It's after that I got to recognize that we are from paradise. Charlottesville is paradise.
And you have prime property here because literally you walk out the door and the shore...
Into the sea.
Into the sea.
That's right.
Just very few places with just this quaint, peaceful setup.
That's right.
And it's just very beautiful, very immaculately kept. You know, like it's just perfect.
Thanks very much to my grandfather, Ivan Nicholson, and those who went before.
Yes. And how have you been able to keep it as a family? What's some of your secrets, or to just make sure that the building is maintained and the integrity is maintained, and just that willingness to share that slice of Charlottesville life is maintained?
Well, I am one of the younger ones, and I can tell you that the older ones really came together and they spent their money to revive and keep it revived.
Yes.
If you had come here last 3-4 years, the manager would have been Pat Nicholson. The manager now is Penn Nicholson Williams. So that's first sister and last sister. They are the people who do the development of the place. My sister loves flowers and plants, and if you walk around, you'll see how beautiful it is, back and the front. So we have been keeping up. We have a board, a board which consists of family members. We keep our meetings, so we are updated as to how things are going. When things are done like the last 4 or 5 years, we know that too. And family members spend their money.
Great. I mean, of course, we need more of this. We need more of our Tobagonians to embody that spirit that your family, the Nicholson family, has embodied to make sure that this happens. Now, tell me a little bit about, just the visitors that you've been welcomed. What's their reactions when they stay here? Because this is not no 5-star hotel. You don't have the room service and stuff. You just have peace and tranquility in a very rustic fishing village.
Yeah, but when you enter these premises, they are immaculate.
Oh, yes, they are.
Immaculately kept. So when people, we try our best with advertising. When you come once, you always want to come back. The island, I must say, lost visitors some years past, but little by little they are coming back, and I'm hoping that our business will thrive through that. One or two little things that are a little disturbing, as we need to understand that people must have sleep time, and you can't have loud music all the time. That is one of the things that's bothering us here.
Oh yes,
Loud,
because there
loud
are some
music.
bars right down the
Yes,
road.
music during people's sleep time. That's the only thing, but other than that, things are going well.
But tell me about the reactions of visitors when they come
Wow.
and they stay here.
They have a wow reaction, a wow. Oh my goodness. Some of them just love the wooden furniture, they love the wood that's used. They said, you know, we didn't concretize it. That means making it out of concrete, as some people have been doing. We didn't do that. So it's just wow. When they see the plants growing all around the place, they just can't take it in. They just have to say wow.
So do you think that we need to have more places like yours that tap into, you know, just our traditional way of life? Because when you look at the buildings, I mean, these were your homes, these were your grandparents' homes that you basically transformed into an experience for visitors to come.
Yeah.
So do you think
It would be a nice thing if people would, but you know, modern day people don't see it that way. Who could ask me to put a pool anywhere here? Nobody. Because we have a big pool right
There's no
out
reason
there.
for the pool.
Well, some people talk about pools still. So then it's the generation we are in. And we need to be strong to explain to them that there's nothing as the natural pool out there.
Yes, and I mean, you welcome visitors from all over the world.
All over the world. All over the world.
And have there been many repeats?
Until about 4 or 5 years ago, things fell down with the tourism industry on the whole. But we have had a number of repeat visitors, and they also send the people.
And why do they keep coming back here?
Everybody loves Colson. As I told you, the place is immaculately kept. Everything is in order. Let me tell you something. Everything that the tourism division asks for, we ensure that it's put in place. Whether it's sign or you need to see, well, like I'm seeing before me, check your temperature, it's right there.
Yes.
Wear your mask, it's right there, because like we're coming back to that just now. As you notice, I am wearing mine.
Oh, yes.
And we abide by the rules. As a matter of fact, you know, we have one best small guest house for many years and going. And people are just pleased with what they get.
And then you
satisfaction is what we need.
And you touched on something really important, and that is, you know, working with the authorities, you know, to bring out the best product. You know, where do you see tourism going?
Well, at present, I cannot say very much. What I know is that they need to help us to keep our plants going. There are a lot of monies going out there, but heaven knows who gets the money. We never got any, not one year, and we are here since 1997. We never got funding from any angle of the assembly. I am hoping that people would see the need for something like this on the island, and that they would support. These ventures, you give out money and you give out money there. Let everybody share in it.
And then how do you feel about, you know, cruise ships coming back into Charlottesville after the pandemic? You know, what's it been like?
Well, as far as I see, it is something good for the village, because at least somebody out the road is making money. I saw people out there, I saw people selling their banana bowls and their fruit bowls and so. There's somebody advertising tie-dye work. There are things around here. And when you hear my choir out the road and my dancers, you will see why they must want to come back.
Can you give us a little idea of what do you have in store for them?
We have dances, local traditional dances. We have folk songs, calypsos, you name it. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing calypsos going on out behind me at this
Oh, yes,
present
we're
time.
hearing it.
Yes, so that we offer everything, and we have a surprise. Tobago or Charlottesville had a type of traditional mask that we see no more. I mean, no more, we don't see it. And I'm trying on my own to revive it. to revive those aspects of dance.
Can you give us an idea of what that was?
Well, we have something called the wild Indian.
Ah.
But it's not the American Indian. It's wild Indians. They wear red clothes with a little white edging by the skirt. I'm not going further. And they have their songs and their dances, you know. They have something called die works, where the people hold their sticks in their hand and they do the whining work. You know, and the wild Indian is a creature who was afraid of money. So if anybody tells you you're a wild Indian, it means that you're afraid of money. So when you work for me, come and get your pay. Don't behave like a wild Indian and not come. So we really want to bring back some of those traditions into the village.
And then would we see that like put forward for like when cruise visitors, the same way how you have the folk dances and the songs and so on, greeting the visitors, would you have that?
We would have it eventually.
Well,
having seen what was happening,
yes,
I put my head together. I said, you know, there are more things we can do. We are very good in traditional mass here, not the naked skin one. So we are getting ready to present those to the tourists when they come also.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to pause here for now because I think we're going to go around a little bit and give you a look at this very historic place because, of course, we can't just be talking about it.
Yeah, Colson Chalet.
Yes, we're going to be
It makes paradise.
It makes paradise. I mean, trust me, it is. I mean, I could stay here whole day and just relax. Anyways, and we're going to get into that right after the break.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go, go.
Ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Welcome to the March Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonnyford, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Le March Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Scary. Yeah, Jesus Christ, mother walk. Look at people behavior. Yeah, we getting on bad, we up in your area. Yeah, when you see we coming, you know it's danger. Yeah, we better than you and all of your neighbor. Yeah, and we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. Cause we no afraid, we no afraid.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Rest assured helped me to cope with the unexpected. Provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tatil Life, guaranteed protection.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
So updates, yes, viewers, we are live here in Charlottesville and the time is 9:07 a.m. Now, viewers, we are going to give you that tour in just a little bit, but before we go on to that, we are going to be speaking with Miss Rianne Moore, who is the leader of the Charlottesville Police Youth Club. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning to the viewers and good morning to the community of Charlottesville.
Now, viewers, if you've been to Charlottesville in the last couple of years, you would have noticed that the jetty looks a little extra special. There are some beautiful paintings that were done on there. There are some signs put in, you know, and it was done by the Charlottesville Police Youth Club.
Correct. So this project, we collaborated with ERIC. ERIC is another group in Charlottesville, Environmental Research Institute, Charlottesville, and we beautified the jetty. We installed murals, a bin, and a directional signage, and this was all in preparation of post-COVID for the arrival of cruise ships. And today we are living in that moment of the return of cruise ships in the port of Charlottesville here. So the murals are definitely a depiction. Charlottesville is a fishing village in the northeastern end of the island, and we know that it is an eco-tourism hotspot. So the jetty transformation, as I said, was in preparation for the post-COVID, and we are living that moment today where we are seeing cruise ships have been arriving back at the port of Charlottesville.
Right. Now, you guys have some more plans for Charlottesville. What are some of those that you have in store?
Okay, so the Police Youth Club continues to be an alternative to a life of crime and violence, drugs and juvenile delinquency in the community. Coming out of the global disruption, the COVID-19 pandemic, we have had a lot of great success stories. One of them being the beautification of the jetty. We also birthed the drum school, and they are presently participating out at the front of the village there in welcoming the tourists back to the community of Charlottesville. So the drum school came about in the pandemic. Even the Charlottesville Police Youth Club Youth Skills Center, one of our biggest achievements that we actually did last year, that we transformed an abandoned building to the youth center. And over 8 weeks, courtesy of the Digital Foundation, we transformed that building. Going forward this year, we really want to focus on vocational training and boosting the entrepreneurial mindset of the young people. We have always known how important entrepreneurship and youth starting their own businesses.
Yes.
But coming out of the pandemic, we are now seeing how crucial youth self-sufficiency and how youth autonomy is important. So going forward, we intend to bring about a lot of vocational training and to boost the entrepreneurial mindset of the young people in the community.
What about the engagement of the young people and then getting them involved? You know, what's been their reactions to just all these projects that you guys have been involved in?
Well, these projects have been well received, I must say, by the young people, because we have a lot of programs going on. Youth advocacy, volunteerism, humanitarian efforts, and we focus on the social ills that are happening in the community. So we focus the programs on those things. Drug abuse, bullying, teenage pregnancy. You know, we have to always have a proactive approach to these issues. So I believe the projects are well received. The youth club is growing, the numbers are increasing, and that in itself speaks that the impact that we are actually having here in our community.
Is there excitement to be involved with some of these tourism-based projects, like, for instance, the performances for the cruise visitors as they come in?
Yes, definitely, especially for the young people. They are very intrigued to be actually performing, you know, being from the village, they are from the soil, and to actually participate in building the tourism product. They are being here alive and well and doing their best. So I think that this is really good for them, you know, bringing awareness, because they really need to understand how important tourism is for a community like Charlottesville.
Yes.
So having them actually participate in what is taking place presently, I really believe that the children are happy to be a part of what is happening this morning and in the few months to come in relation to the cruise ships.
Now, if there's people watching and just want to be a part or even want to support the efforts of the Charlottesville Youth Council, Youth Club, and I mean, this is something that people should get involved with because they have been doing very beautiful work. Like I said, if you've been up here in the last couple of years, you would see it. All that, I mean, people have come up and there's been lots of pictures of the signs and stuff like that, and it is because of the youth club. So how can they get involved? How can people get involved?
Persons can get involved by emailing the youth club, charlottevillepyc@gmail.com, and they can also reach me, the leader of the Police Youth Club, at 784-3900. We are always open to assistance. You know, it's a non-governmental organization, and we are always open to any kind of assistance that can be afforded to fully ensure that the young people become noteworthy contributors to the society.
All right, great. I want to thank you, Ms.
so
Rayanne
much.
Moore, for being on with us and just giving us that perspective and to let viewers know who has been behind the beautification project for Charlottesville.
Thank you.
All right, great. Well, viewers, we'll be getting into that tour in just a bit, so don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Whole Life helps me secure their future, provides financial protection with added benefits. Whole Life, the affordable financial benefits plan. Tato Life, guaranteed protection.
Welcome. It's Christmas time at Le Marge Parfait Day Spa.
Feliz Navidad. Bienvenido a Limas Parfait de Spa.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is yeah. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much my heart could take. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last. Raise a glass. Boy,
Socialize!
27th of January. Look for where.
Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I said,
Michael.
we special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Historic guest house situated in Charlottesville, on the beachfront in Charlottesville. And now on the back of us, as we heard in the interview with Miss Annette Alfred, that's the first house that existed on this property here. It was constructed by her grandfather. And of course, right around we have the main buildings that house visitors when they come here. And then we have the gardens, very gorgeous. We have some fruit trees and we have flowers littered all over the place. That just brings that extra vibe and serenity to this place. Now viewers, it's been something like, if you looked at those old pictures of Charlottesville, this is one place that comes up all the time. Now the only thing that has changed about this place is perhaps the paint, but it has remained as is for almost a century. This is one of our unique treasures here in Tobago. So we're going into one of the buildings, I should say, and just to give you a look at just what visitors experience in here. Now, one thing Miss Annette Alfred spoke about is that of the antique furniture, just that whole rustic look mixed in with some modern amenities, of course, like a television and a microwave, things that make a visitor stay here comfortable in the 21st century. But as you can see, it's just, if you remember those, like going to your grandparents' homes long ago, it just embodies that, this is just some of the pleasures that people experience, and they love this. From what you said, and then there's always visitors here on a given day. Of course, I mean, not counting the pandemic when everything was closed down, but when everything is up and going, when tourists are flowing to the island, you know, they love this experience. They treasure this experience even more than they would a hotel. You know, there's something about that, just having that intimate look at a hotel, at a village life that just encourages visitors to come and just gives them that experience that you can get nowhere else. So, and of course, Charlottesville is just that most beautiful place where they can have it. And then we're here in another one of the buildings. As you can see, you have a little kitchenette, refrigerator, and those amenities. And I think we're going to, I'm not sure, let's see if I can get the light on in here. We're going to give you a look at what one of the bedroom looks like. So we're going to get the camera in there so you can get a view. Just a nice, quaint, just the wood, the smell of the wood, you know, that takes you back to those memories from long ago. I mean, it's just beautiful. And then the best part of this place, we're going to take you in a bit, we're going to show you is that through this door, just look at that. No words can express the beauty that you walk out to if you are staying here. And this is what a lot of the visitors come for. You know, they don't need anything more than us. They just need the simple amenities, just a nice clean place, you know, properly kept, and you get to walk out on the ocean front. Where else in the world can you experience this? You know, it's definitely a wonderful place to be, and I just want to thank the Nicholson family for allowing us to actually be here. As you know, I mean, as we wake up Charlottesville this morning, you know, there's so much activity happening. It's so wonderful to see all of this. Good morning. I mean, only in Charlottesville, right? To see all of this happening around us, all this activity. We have the visitors that are coming off on the jetty, and we have the, of course, the authority figures that are there, just welcoming them, making sure that everything is safe and okay. And most importantly, we have the performers, and then we have a lot of people that are selling, all from Charlottesville. You know, Charlottesville, this is the type of Charlottesville to come alive, and for people here to, you know, gain a little extra. It's wonderful. It really is wonderful to see the cruise ships come back here, and we know that the people here have wanted this for the last few years and are happy to have it back. Well, viewers, that's how we're going to have to wrap things up this morning. It was such a pleasure being with you all. I mean, anything that takes me out here on the waterfront is such a wonderful thing. So thank you for viewing, and have a safe and wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starts.